Hey gang, Spearsy here. You've heard us talk about the 80s cruise before. You know we love it and we never miss it. For 2019, we don't want you to miss it either. And to help make that dream come true, there's a July 4th holiday special on cabins. Tell them about it, Brad.
My pleasure, Steve. Here's the deal, folks. Through July 8th, book an inside or ocean view stateroom and save around $700 off the regular price for that cabin. Or book a veranda, aqua class, or concierge class stateroom at either the past guest price or new guest price, whichever applies, and 2 guests on that reservation receive a free classic beverage package, which is a $409 value per person.
I beg your pardon? Free drinks? Did you say free drinks?
Yes, Spearsy, free as in drinks. Feel free to quaff them down, Karate Man, while you silently watch performances by Kenny Loggins, Sheila E., OMD, The Fix, The English Beat, Berlin, Grandmaster Flash, and more.
I'm sorry. I'm still stuck on the part about the free drinks.
Spearsy. Look, just do me a solid and ease off on the free drinks before we host Big 80s Trivia on the ship, okay?
Psst, that's why Jen with one N is coming along with this time. Insurance, man. Insurance.
Oh, checks out, brother. Ship sails March 2nd to the 9th to the Western Caribbean on board the Celebrity Infinity. Don't miss the concerts, the trivia, the theme nights, the fun.
Don't miss the unexpected, because there's no party like the 80s cruise. Go to www.the80scruise.com to book now. And don't forget, these holiday rates will end soon.
Look, folks, it truly is spring break for adults. Now, on with the show.
Travel back in time to the 80s. Reliving the music.
Everybody have fun tonight. Everybody Wang Chung tonight.
The movies.
Yes! 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 Oh! Oh! Oh!
I'll have what she's having.
And the parties.
No one in my family ever drinks.
That's great. You probably never run out of ice your whole life.
Because just like you, we're stuck in the 80s.
Sure, it's not 1985 right now, but who knows what tomorrow will bring?
Hey, welcome to Stuck in the 80s. It's your host, Steve Spears.
And Brad in L.A.
And you're listening to the latest single from Tom Bailey of the Thompson twins. This is just one feature of today's show, another installment of 80s News Now.
Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Stuck in the 80s is a member of the CLNS Podcast Network. You can find our podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and the CLNS Media mobile app.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast on the CLNS Media website. You can find it at clnsmedia.com. And as always, we plead, please, if you love our show, share the links on social media. And don't forget to like our page on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. The Facebook address is facebook.com/stuckinthe80s podcast. Pretty easy to remember. Twitter's even easier. It's just Stuck in the 80s. And don't forget, we also have a main website where all these lovely podcasts are held. It's at sit80s.com. Hey, let's all be 80s nerds together in 2018.
So, Steve, speaking of self-promotion, I have to tell you, I was in Colorado last week. I was on a hike with my family. We're, 4 or 5 miles from the parking lot. And I'm overlooking this lake with my cousin. And somehow, I don't remember how we got to it. We started talking about the movie Better Off Dead.
Aha.
This woman in front of me turns around and is like, yeah, John Cusack's best work. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. So I said to her, he doesn't really like to talk about it. She's like, yeah, I know, but he's doing a tour right now. I'm like, oh, this lady's in the know. So I said, do you listen to podcasts? She said, I love podcasts. So I said, do you listen to Stuck in the 80s? She's like, oh, I never heard of that. I'm like, well, if you like the 80s and you like podcasts, this could be a thing for you. And out of my backpack came a Stuck in the 80s business card, which I stuck out and handed to her. Katie was like, can Showtime Brad go away so we can keep hiking, please? So maybe we picked up a listener. If you're listening, new listener, and you met me on the trail out of the Bear Lake trailhead, then, drop us a line.
It's funny you mentioned that. My new job, I work at Disney Digital now, and So it's the summer, so we have interns.
Sure.
And so I've been training some of the interns, which is comical since I've only been there a little over a month myself. At my desk, I had like an 80s Cruise water bottle and 80s Cruise coffee mug and stuff like that. She's like, well, what's the story with the 80s in you? I was like, well.
How much time do you have?
It's like, funny you ask, young Padawan learner. And so I told her the whole story about the podcast and everything. I go, it's just about, a bunch of bands you wouldn't know. They were before your time. She's like, oh, I know all these bands. She's like, my parents, grew up and played nothing but 80s music. And I'm like, there is hope for the future. So every day she comes in,
That's awesome.
I give her new bands to listen to every day. Have you fully understood and learned from the Hoodoo Gurus yet? And I've given her the link to the podcast. So who knows? Maybe we have a couple new listeners. That's fantastic.
Living the dream. If everyone does their part, we could get up to like 20 listeners.
That'd be great. And if maybe 3 female listeners, that'd be even better. For older listeners, well, we're all old. Once upon a time, we used to do this thing called 80s News Now, where, for lack of a better theme for a show, Brad and I get together and we go over some of the relative 80s news that's out there in the zeitgeist. And this is one of those days where we've been talking amongst ourselves about all these things. And I'm like, this seems like there's a podcast here. So bear with us while we launch ourselves into the pulpy goodness that is 80s News Now. One of the finest popsmiths of the 80s is back with his first new music in, well, it feels like forever. Tom Bailey of the Thompson Twins, who has staged one of the most impressive comebacks in recent memory, has a new album out, and it's called Science Fiction. This is the first single from the album. It's called What Kind of World? Brad, what do you think of the new music?
I like it. I think it sounds, it definitely has an 80s feel to it. He's written that so that it hits where his voice is now. He can, he comes in strong with it. And I really like it. It
does sound like what would have been the next step of Thompson Twins.
Yeah.
It's not like I'm going to go back and redo the old sound.
Yeah. I think this is his first solo album ever. Yeah. So, who knows how long some of this material's been rattling around in his head.
We might be hearing what he was thinking about in 1992. It's hard to say. But if you haven't had a chance to catch Tom, he has been touring like crazy lately, and this summer he has a huge tour through North America. He's before he comes over here, he'll be joining Aha in the UK for 6 dates in June.
Oh, that would be a show.
Which we will, today being July 1st, we've already missed all those, but that would have been fantastic. And then last night, I know he was in Tampa with Culture Club, and is it B-52s?
I think the B-52s, yeah, that's a pretty good bill too. I'm not a huge Culture Club guy. In fact, that's one of my Change the Station bands, but that seems like that's kind of a big profile tour.
Yeah, so that's fantastic. Then he'll return to the UK in November for another leg of the tour. And you and I have seen him at least 3 times now, right?
Yeah, I've seen him, I think, twice. Anyway, yeah, I've seen him a couple times on the cruise and at the Retro Futura, which was his kind of coming back out party.
Right. And he just, you just can't believe that someone who has been away from music for so long could pick it right back up again, like he'd been gone for a weekend.
Yeah, but I laugh every time. Well, both times I saw him, I thought about what he said to you when you interviewed him when he said he had to go and buy a copy of his greatest hits CD. It's like, I've kind of forgotten these children of mine that I sent out into the world.
No, but it'd been decades. I written him off. I don't think I'm blowing any smoke when I say it's one of the biggest comebacks we've ever seen. He came from complete retirement, screaming right back and picking up where he left off. So kudos to him.
Yeah, seriously.
And the cool thing is, Tom isn't the only one with new music in the last month or so. We saw that the English Beat released their first album with frontman Dave Wakeling since 1982.
Shocking.
The album is called Here We Go Love. It's 13 new songs, and the first single is this one called How Can You Stand There?
How can you stand there when all around you is a lie? How
Oh my God, so much fun. That's like everything you want from the English beat in that song.
Yeah. Had you forgotten how much you like ska? Because let me remind you, it's a lot of fun. It's just fun.
Every time they come on First Wave on Sirius XM, I never turn. They're one of the bands where I never turn the channel.
Well, no, why would you?
No, it's fun. Every song is fun, but this song, I just really like it. It's more of the same. It's like more greatness, more pop gold,
right?
Molten cheese, everything we want from the English beat. So,
too much of a good thing is wonderful.
and the English beat's not the last of it. Tony Hadley, sadly now formerly of Spandau Ballet, has released his first solo album in 10 years. The album is called Taking to the Moon. And one of the first singles is this one called Take Back Everything. It's Tony Hadley, man. The voice is still so golden. Everything's
I don't want to be crass, but that guy is one smooth.
Well, we haven't had to use the bleeper in a while, so I guess we were due.
You might be able to say, gosh, that's really produced, like really heavily produced. But you know what? He sounds fantastic. And he just kind of draws you in with the voice. And I know these guys are all kind of tailoring their music now to where their voices are now, which is not where it was in the 80s. Let's face it. None of us are. But he just nails this. I'm looking forward to hearing more from him off of this.
I'm hoping we get a chance to see him soon in the U.S. I hope he comes over here for a nice tour, or I hope he comes on a future Voyage of the 80s cruise, because that would make that a
yeah,
trip. Something like that. I would love to hang with. I would love to interview him. I'd love to hang with him. I want to ask him about 300 questions.
Want to drink beers with him. Want to ask him what's the deal with that big long skinny microphone.
Yeah. Maybe he'll bring the microphone.
He's only got dates in the UK right now.
Yeah,
so.
that's fine. But we'll get our chance.
The big meanie.
We will get our chance.
I certainly hope so. So speaking of getting new chances, Steve, we're excited to be working with a new sponsor, Green Chef. I know what you're thinking. Hey, guys, what happened to HelloFresh? Don't worry. They're still our besties, too. Green Chef and HelloFresh are working together. Green Chef is the first USDA-certified organic meal kit delivery service. They include everything you need to cook delicious gourmet meals that you can feel good about. Green Chef ingredients come pre-measured, perfectly portioned, and mostly prepped. And this is the big and there's something for everybody. There are paleo meal plans, vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, omnivore, and carnivore plans. It's crazy. I had a hard time picking. The recipes include pre-made sauces, dressing, and spice mixes, so you get more flavor in less time. So I got my first omnivore Green Chef box last week. I thought, hey, I eat everything. Why not? Let's go omnivore. And it was full of organic vegetables and other ingredients. The first thing I made out of it was the steak saltado lettuce wraps with sweet potato fries. Oh, it sounded great, and it lived up to expectations. They sent this Peruvian spice mix that made the sweet potato fries go from like, oh, okay, sweet potatoes to, whoa, my kids just mowed through them. I mean, I was having to slap their hand away from my plate. Like, no, those are mine. Those are mine. Because you are a Stuck in the 80s listener, you get a special deal. To get $50 off your first box of Green Chef, go to greenchef.us/80s. Note that's greenchef.us, not .com. greenchefus/80s for $50 off your first box.
Excellent. I got a box the other day. I got the paleo.
Oh, nice. Because you're a caveman?
Well, I got enough hair to be one. Anyway, let's continue the show. Are you ready for a couple too crazy to be true rumors about Top Gun 2? MovieWeb and The Hollywood Reporter both say that producers are auditioning actors to play the role of Goose's son, and that the auditions actually were held earlier this week here in Tampa Bay, Florida, in the tiny burg that is known as Clearwater.
He was a toddler in the first movie, right?
Yeah. I've been wondering what the plot line could be. And I don't know that this is the full plot line. It could just be like a little tiny
Take
twist.
me to bed or lose me forever.
Oh, no. But,
or both.
Maybe, Goose's son has pursued the family business, and maybe he's at Top Gun. Maybe Tom Cruise is there as the instructor. I don't know what Iceman's there for, but allegedly Val Kilmer is in the movie as well.
Flying drones.
Yeah. So Clearwater, I guess, was the go-to spot for the auditions because Tom Cruise was in town preparing for a press tour for Mission Impossible Fallout.
Okay.
Those who kind of know Clearwater and Tom Cruise, know what the connection is.
I do know that connection.
Clearwater is the spiritual headquarters of Scientology. So Tom Cruise is sort of the face of Scientology and has been for a few decades now. So if you've ever been to downtown Clearwater, it's practically like a little fortress of Scientology.
Scientology town.
Yes. Boy, they just love when people come up and ask them questions too. So please do that. Anyway, some of the leading contenders to play Goose's son, Nicholas Hoult, Glenn Powell, and Miles Teller. Teller is actually from neighboring Citrus County, so that's interesting. And as I mentioned, Val Kilmer will be back. Well, they say. I think I just saw on Facebook the other day that some of our Stuck in 80s friends were at a Val Kilmer appearance. So
he has been doing these screenings of his one-man play Mark Twain thing.
Yeah.
And he was at that. And there were a few pictures. He didn't look bad. He looks a lot better. I know he's been sick.
Yeah. And the other news that we've heard is Kenny Loggins is working on a new version of Danger Zone that allegedly will feature a newer generation artist. See how that works out.
That's one of those songs you're like, you would never seek out, but when it comes on, you can't turn it off.
Oh, yeah. I like every song on the Top Gun soundtrack.
It's so cheesy, and yet you can't say no to it. I like cheese. Believe me. Give me some quesadillas with Kenny Loggins in them.
I may turn this podcast off right now and just go watch the movie instead. That might be
okay. We'll be back. Just put it on pause for a couple hours. We're going to go watch Top Gun together. Okay, we're back.
And just a reminder, Top Gun 2 Maverick is still set to buzz the tower on July 12th, 2019.
Oh, can you get us invited to the premiere, Steve?
Yeah, there's like 0.00 chance of that happening. I have no pull. But something I do have a little bit of pull in, and that's helping men from losing their hair. 80s Nation, did you know that 66% of men lose their hair by age 35? And hey, that's cool. If you want to rock the Captain Picard look from Star Trek, that's your call. Just keep in mind, Star Trek was set a few centuries from now. Here's the thing to know now, though. You can do something about it. Stuck in the 80s is working with our partner, forhims.com, to help fight hair loss. Stop worrying about a receding hairline or a growing bald spot and listen up to what For Hims can do for you. For Hims connects you with real doctors who have real solutions. No snake oil pills or late night TV goofiness here. It's funny. I had a friend in the 80s who was nearly bald by the time he graduated from college. He looked exactly like Vladimir Lenin. not
da comrade.
not a great look for age 21 in the middle of the Cold War in the U.S.
No, comrade.
Yes. I wish we had forhims.com back then. You could just go online. You answer some questions about your hair loss, your skincare problems, your sexual wellness, and boom, a real doctor reviews your situation, prescribes you the right medicine. It's shipped directly to you. No fuss, no doctor's office, no stress, no more silly movie references. And right now, Stuck in These listeners get a trial month of Hims for just $5 today, right now while supplies last. See the website for full details. That's forhims.com/80s. Got it? Forhims.com/80s. Get a handle on your healthcare and get ready to rock again.
If you're using Netflix right now to binge The Crown, maybe the second season of Glow, or to watch West Wing for the 18th time from start to finish like Spearsy does, we won't judge you.
When I ask what's next, it means I'm ready to move on to other things. So, what's next?
We're done.
Fantastic.
But the online streaming service is also featuring some great 80s classics in the lineup right now. And we have for you, in case you were wondering, in case you're sitting around moping, wondering what you're going to watch during the summer malaise, here are our picks for the 10 best movies from the 80s on Netflix right now.
Yeah. I had some fun pulling together this list. And I think the list, the quality-wise of the movies that are available right now are pretty amazing. Our personal favorite, Trading Places.
Oh, so good.
We are moving.
Number 2, one of my personal favorites, something I own on DVD, so I don't care if it's on Netflix. Can't Buy Me Love. You gotta love the African Anteater Ritual.
Now that ain't Dick Clark.
We thank our 2 exchange students from Lower Swahili, Charles Kibengi and Sunday Ubuki, for recreating the African Anteater Ritual.
Because you never know when we're going to ask that in Big 80s trivia. So,
a little foreshadowing.
Number 3, Adventures in Babysitting. I still think that's Elizabeth Shue's probably best movie of the 80s.
Well, it's better than her working Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Number 4, The Lost Boys. Oh, I haven't seen that in so long. I think I'm going to watch that tonight. Death by Stereo.
Silly boy. Never invite a vampire into your house. It renders you defenseless or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway. Number 5, The Money Pit. Tom Hanks. I actually turned this on just the other day. I started watching it for the first time in forever. A lot better than I remembered it. And a lot worse.
Kind of famous in my family because Shelley Long is a viola player. It's like the only movie viola player who ever existed. My older sister is a viola player.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Number 6 is Dead Poets Society. If you're feeling like you're a little too happy, you could turn this on.
Why do I stand up here? Anybody?
To feel taller.
No. Thank you for playing, Mr. Dalton. I stand upon my desk to remind myself that we must constantly look at things in a different way.
I'm still surprised Robin Williams did not win the Oscar for this. And
can you name who stole it from him?
I think that was someone with one foot.
Yes, and a left one at that.
Daniel Day-Lewis. What a
I know, but it
was a good performance. It
was a sign of things to come for him, for sure.
That's true. And look, Steve, no matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
So they keep telling me, so I keep falling miserably short at. Speaking of which, number 7, Lethal Weapon. Another happy story of a cop who's so depressed he wants to kill himself.
One of my favorite Christmas movies ever.
It took me forever to finally watch this movie from start to finish. I don't know why. I just kind of had this thing about cop movies in general that I just don't really enjoy. But still, one of Mel Gibson's best.
Yeah. Oh, the chemistry there is just so good. Number 8, Turner and Hooch. Like, look, this isn't a classic, but it's fun. And it just proves that Tom Hanks makes any living creature look good. He could act next to a fern. And, they would both come out with Academy Award nominations.
This is still my mom's favorite 80s movie.
Is it really?
Yeah. And nice. When I go to visit her, and I'm the only one who knows how to operate her smart TV. I really am. It could not be any easier. You just press the button that says smart TV. So I set her up with, a Netflix thing. So I can, so she can watch movies on my,
right. And you can watch Netflix when you go there.
Right. So every time I go home, all she wants to watch is, she wants to watch comedians in cars getting coffee. Which is fine. It's on Netflix now, and I'll if we have to bond over something, I can do that.
Trey Jolie, Mr. Spearsy,
and she'll always ask me, "Ooh, is Turner and Hooch on Netflix?" And I'm always like, "No, I'm pretty sure it's not on Netflix."
That's too good a movie to be on Netflix.
We're still making money in the theaters off that one, Mom.
Sorry, they've got Can't Stop the Music though.
They do not have Can't Stop the Music. Number 9 is a twofer. I'm going to say Ghostbusters 1 and Ghostbusters 2 are both on Netflix right now. And I like putting them both here because Ghostbusters 2 cannot stand on its own. But I love...
No, it cannot.
But I still like Vigo. And what's number 10, Brad?
Number 10 is 1989's Little Monsters. Why do we choose this? Steve?
To keep Heathers off the
out of deference.
To keep Heathers off the list.
Yeah, out of deference to you.
I can't stand Heathers. I'm sorry. I don't like it.
Who's in Little Monsters? I don't even remember this one.
Howie Mandel and
oh, right. Yes. And Fred Savage, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It's not horrible.
Wow, that's how it made number 10 on our list. It doesn't totally stink.
And you know what else doesn't totally stink?
The Seggies.
The mystical refrain that is listener mailbag. It's been a while since we've done our full Seggies, so I'm sorry for the delay. It's just been a weird summer. I was sick for what seemed like forever. And I think I finally kicked it. And then the other day, I ended up having to come home early from work because my back hurt so bad I couldn't sit still in my chair. But that's not going to stop me from podcasting. And anyway, I'm falling apart, Brad.
No, Steve, forhims.com. Let them take care of you.
Yes, I will. I got to see what they can do for me. But in the meantime, we got a letter from Greg from 1985, it says. So if you don't mind, let me soothe the savage voice here. Let me go play with forhims.com right now while you read the letter.
Oh, that's a visual I didn't need. But yes, I'll be happy to do that. Here we go. Greg writes, "Hey, Steve and Brad. First, thanks for the consistent quality entertainment. I've listened to all the podcasts, and they never sit in my queue as I listen to Stuck in the 80s immediately upon receipt. That's what I like to hear. Remember, Greg, download twice, listen once." He continues, "Please keep covering the 80s cruise and other events, as it is nice to get a taste of how amazing the events are. I was booked on the second 80s cruise, but had to cancel due to illness.
No.
Oh, missing it was devastating, as the lineup was as though I had picked it myself. Listening to your highlights of that cruise helped. I see OMD is on the cruise next year. I encourage anyone who hasn't seen them live to check them out. I was at OMD's concert in Vancouver this March, and they were phenomenal." Okay, enough of the preliminaries. Here's the real reason I'm writing. I am formally requesting passage on the Spearsy Time Machine. Here's my stripe. Well, we haven't had one of these in a while.
We should cue the theme song.
It must be some kind of
podcast
time machine.
Guys! This is scientifically possible.
Oh my god. Okay, Professor Hawking, tell me in your robot voice how this is scientifically possible.
It is obviously a podcast time machine.
And we're back. It was the summer of 1986, and I was madly in love and thoroughly ensconced in my favorite decade. The World's Fair Expo 86 was happening in Vancouver, and the whole city was abuzz with excitement. My girlfriend was working at Expo 86. We went to several of the concerts during the fair, including a-ha's first North American concert, as well as Boys Don't Cry, Platinum Blonde, Loverboy, Depeche Mode, Glass Tiger, and Gene Loves Jezebel. Dang.
That's pretty strong.
It is. It is. Fun fact, my dad's college orchestra actually played at the Expo 86.
There you go.
Fact check true. Okay, that's all the orchestra references for this week. We move. It was the dog days of summer, August 1986, when I accompanied my girlfriend to a party with her work buddies at a mountain resort. Not being the most social of creatures, I wasn't excited about the weekend away with her coworkers, but what the hell, I would be with her, and I always end up having a good time. I had just purchased my first new car, and being 22, I was happy with my super shiny black Suzuki Samurai convertible Jeep. My girlfriend and I made the drive to the mountain resort to partake in the good times with her friends. We arrived at the resort with the sun shining and the roof down and my sweet Tom Bailey super mullet flowing in the wind. Oh, Greg, you paint a picture. You paint a picture. As we pulled into the driveway, everyone else was out front. My girlfriend quickly hopped out to greet her friends. I got out of my pride and joy, and in front of me, getting out of his daddy's BMW was, no shitting you, a clone of Steph, James Spader's character from Pretty in Pink. Where is this going, Steve? There's a shadow cast suddenly. I said hello and went to shake his hand. He gave me his limp noodle handshake while looking me up and down. Then he said loudly for all to hear, "Nice car. Does it come with a free bowl of soup?" I was confused and just gave a weak smirk. The rest of the weekend didn't go well. My girlfriend became very distant and was only interested in being with her friends. On the way home, I asked her what was going on. She informed me that she was just having fun with her friends, and she was sorry about ignoring me. That night, alone in bed, I was replaying the weekend's events when I recalled what the BMW Steph clone loser had said to me about my car coming with a free bowl of soup. I then remembered it was a Rodney Dangerfield line from Caddyshack, a movie I'd watched at least 100 times. I was disgusted with myself that I didn't catch it at the time and come back with something snappy to that Steph wannabe. Sadly, the relationship with this girl started to fade, and within a month she dumped me. I've thought about that weekend a lot over the last 3 decades and wonder if I'd come back with something witty to the Steph wannabe, maybe my 80s love would have survived. So, if possible, please let me have passage on this Spearsy time machine, because who knows how my life would have turned out. Just being able to reply to the "nice car, does it come with a bowl of soup?" comment would be satisfying enough. There is a possibility that I would only require one-way passage, as I don't think I would want to come back. Wow. Thanks, Greg from 1985. Okay, Greg. I need to know what the comeback is, though.
Yeah,
I mean, we're not just giving these tickets away. What you've had some time to kind of pour over this. What is the canonical response to "nice car, does it come with a bowl of soup"? No, but your mom does? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that was on short notice. I'm sure you've come up with something better than that.
We'll accept responses from 80s Nation. If anyone has a really good quippy response to that, we'll save it and send it along to Greg so he can write them down and bring them with him on the
Looks
time
good
machine.
on you, though.
Yeah. God, that sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially, obviously, Greg, it's, wearing at you a little bit if you're still thinking about it now, all these years later. Everybody has those moments in the shower. The next day you're like, oh, I should have said this.
I mean, obviously there's still some things that haunt me from the 80s, from 30 years ago, or else I wouldn't still be doing this podcast for 13 years. You'd think by now I would have shaken it, but no.
Well, I hope not. We're having too much fun doing this podcast.
Oh, I'm cured. I'm ready to move on.
Oh, sorry, guys. Last episode.
I'll listen to whatever. I'll start listening to Kanye and being a total douchebag. Oh, man. I love our listeners. They always have the best stories.
Speaking of our listeners, Steve, did you get a box from Kurt Trenery this week?
I did.
Yeah.
I just opened it up a few days ago.
You sent me a hat.
Yeah, he sent me a hat. I got a hat, too.
It did not come with a free bowl of soup, though. It's a nice hat.
It's a nice hat. We would definitely wear it. Yeah, I love that. That's really thanks, Kurt.
Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Yeah. Always great to get surprises in the mail that aren't
ticking
from registered mail. As always, we love your stories, especially your time machine request stories. Please send them to podcast@sit80s.com. The unmistakable, non-mistakable sound that is the theme song for I Want My Mystery TV theme song. Take 4. Sorry, inside joke there. You know, by now I'm getting kind of giddy. I don't know what it is. It's because it's Saturday afternoon, and I know that we have approximately like 30 minutes to edit this show.
Anyway. We're gonna slam this thing together so fast it's gonna make your head spin, gentle listener.
Yeah. This is no frills podcasting at its best. You know the drill here. We will play a piece of a theme song from the 80s, the decade that Brad and I watched no television whatsoever. So every time we pick one of these, we kind of ask ourselves, do you even recognize this? To which the answer is always no.
No.
But if you get it right, you're entered into the drawing for a Stuck in the 80s business card from Brad.
And a bottle opener. And a bottle opener.
Pay attention. All the way back from episode 300. Pay attention. Take 5. Pay attention. Take 5. Here was the clue from episode 460. Yes, that's Unsolved Mysteries.
Pretty well solved, too.
Yeah.
Didn't fool anybody with this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list of winners right now going, I don't think I ever watched this show, but
no.
Like I said, no great surprise. But I thought we would fling this one by the readers and they wouldn't get it. But readers, listeners, take 6. Brad, read some of the winners.
Winners this week include Jeff Rocks in Indiana, Canuck now in Colorado, Dave in Oxford, Dave Peterson, Ex-Weather Girl in Lakeville, Minnesota, Eric in Tennessee, Kim in Funkytown, Dr. Tim, Dave Augie August, Jeff in Utah, DJ in Clinton, Aaron Shirley in Canada, Jonathan Thompson, Alex Stix Cardoso Solis from Tijuana, Mexico, Anonymous Dave, Alan Titus, Tom Korn in Austria, Jeff Penne Pasta, I like that, that's a good one, Andrew Holler, Rick Parker, Melmer in St. Thomas, Ontario, Douglas the General Arthur, Kevin Serving Wench, Marie Mueller, Tim from Toadsuck, Joseph Perdue, Brock in North Dakota, Ken Mooch Milligan, and Joe the Wanderer.
I'm the one who amended Jeff Penne's name, so he could be.
Oh, I like that.
He could be pissed off.
Like
it'd be sort of like when people called me Broccoli Spears in the playgrounds in elementary school. I mean,
I don't know. Kevin Serving Wench still speaks to me, so.
Yeah. Jeff Penne Pasta. I'm sorry. You're going to hear that over and over again. I can't get it out of my head. Let's spin the wheel. See if we have a winner.
Oh, okay. Well, if we must, we must.
Well, I'll be damned. Jeff Penne Pasta.
Drop us a line, yes, Mr. Pasta Man.
If that is your name. With your snail mail address, and we will send you some swagatorium. That doesn't make any sense. Take 8. I skipped. I got to stop this daytime euphoria known as podcasting. Anyway, in the meantime, pay attention. Here's this week's mystery clip. If you know it, email us at podcast@sat80s.com. And tune in probably a month and a half from now. Find out if you're a winner.
Get it back in rotation.
Yeah, we'll try. We're going to try to stay healthy. And then, in the meantime, here's a commercial break for you.
Waffalo Bill, come quick. Messy James is holding up the train.
Oh, he's going to need some Waffalo cereal.
There goes that train.
Give him some Waffalo cereal, Bill.
Try these crunchy little critters. They taste like little waffles with maple syrup flavor.
Waffalo's is a delicious part of this nutritious breakfast.
Why do they call you Messy James anyway?
I don't know. Waffalo cereal tastes like little waffles.
Yeah.
And we're back, and we've got just a few minutes left, and I just thought I'd say, Steve, what are you doing this summer? What's going on? You got any fun activities planned?
Well, I got no vacation because I just started a job, and so there's no accrued vacation time.
No time.
So kind of screwed on that, but that's fine. I do have some concert tickets. I bought tickets to see. Well, I mean, the Retro for Tour is out there, but it's not coming anywhere near me down here in Florida. That's not unusual. But Echo and the Bunnymen with the Violent Femmes are playing, I think it's July 20th at House of Blues in Disney Springs.
Oh, nice.
Which is literally 3 miles from the building I work at, Disney Digital.
Oh, okay. So it's easy. I know that it needs to be kind of on one of your preordained movement paths for you to consider attending an event such as that.
That's a hike. I mean, because I live it takes me almost an hour to get to work, which I know is nothing for you. But for me, that's
just
like,
kind of the way it is out here in God's country.
It's just, so for me, it's a little bit more of a struggle. So I've never seen either band. Echo and the Bunnymen, they never put on a proper tour in the U.S. So I think and the shitty thing about it, I guess, is it's one of those general admission shows. So you got to stand.
Oh, okay.
You got to stand.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure some of my 80s cruisers who live in Orlando are going to it. So the nice thing about not having assigned seats is you can at least know some people you can hang out with. And
yeah, that's good.
Not feel like a complete boob for being there by yourself, looking like a stalker.
Hi. Are you having fun here tonight at the show?
I really like
Here, let me give you a business card from my podcast.
I put my cell phone number on the back.
Just in case you want to call the police.
Right. So that's my big thing. What's going on? What do you got going on this summer?
Well, we just got back from a family trip to Colorado to go to a reunion, which is why I was hiking. I know we have some listeners in Colorado. Sorry, I didn't have time for an in-store or anything. Ha ha. It was, zoom in, zoom out. Been watching a lot of World Cup. I don't know if we have anybody else in 80s Nation is watching the World Cup, but this morning's Argentina-France match was just insanity. So it's been a fun World Cup. But I think Katie and I might cruise down to the Orange County Fair to see Kool and the Gang next month.
Really?
She loves her some Kool and the Gang. I mean, you remember what her reaction was like when we saw them on the boat? She was ready to go be a roadie with them.
Oh, yeah.
So
I don't, yeah. We don't, all the state fairs the state fair here in Florida, it's in February. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, the county fairs run now in California. And I think the state fair it's up in Sacramento, but that's not till later in the summer.
No, it's just a lousy time of the year for outdoor shows.
To be outside.
Yeah. I'm staring out the window right now from the penthouse view from my lofty townhouse in
deluxe apartment in the sky.
In the very blue collar chic suburb known as Castleberry, Florida. And it's just raining. It's been raining for 2 or 3 hours now. That's what it's going to do the rest of the day. And if you walk outside right now, it'll still be 95 degrees with 160% humidity. And that's just what it's going to be like until October. So
like Ming the Merciless up there, just push the hot hail button.
Yes. Hot hail. I forgot about that. It's funny because there's this independent movie house here in the Orlando area called the Indian. They do like free 80s movies out on the lawn in the summer. Again,
okay,
great idea. Yeah. Wrong season. So every year they'll play Flash Gordon, but I'm not going to watch Flash Gordon in the middle of a hot hailstorm.
No.
So I'm not sure I'm going to watch it in the middle of my air conditioned townhome either. But anyway, hey, that's all we have. We have some interesting shows coming up, and we will get back in the swing of things with the Seggies. We promise. You do your end and send us the time machine emails, though. We love those stories.
Yes.
I need something to make myself feel better about.
Steve feeds on your pain. He's a pain vampire.
Yes, exactly. I'm starting to think there's a little bit of truth to that. But in the meantime, Brad, myself, and Tom Bailey, we remain here, hopelessly stuck in the 80s.
Stuck in the 80s is a member of the CLNS Media Network. Special thanks to Check Battery Daily for our theme music. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, or the CLNS Media mobile app.
Don't forget, these holiday rates will... And don't forget, these holiday... What's nothing funny about this? I don't know why I'm having problems.